Okay, so a quick video. I want to just go over some things that we discovered last night that were problems, and specifically with the dolphin update, which is so far, in my opinion, has been one of the worst updates I've seen Android do. So I just want to help you out a little bit, because when I first installed it on my computer this morning, it wasn't working, and basically what it was telling me was something. I didn't grab that particular error message, but it was something about not having a 7.4 Grado version, and it just wasn't going to do anything. Now, what I did to fix it was actually really simple, and I'll show it to you. It's right here, and you go File, and you do Repair ID. This one right here, okay? File Repair ID, and what it's going to do is it's going to give you a screenshot, kind of, or a little box like this right here, like in my screenshot. And in my case, it had 1 out of 5. This shows 3 out of 5 because I didn't think about taking the screenshot until it was halfway through. But what happens is, basically, it will tell you what it's going to do, and then you click on whether everything works now, which of course it doesn't, or you just click on what it says it's going to do. You click on that, and it will do the first one, and it will give you something else. You click on that. You just go through until it does all 5. And basically, I just walked through that, and everything worked fine as far as getting that up. The second problem I had was, of course, this one right here, and that one's an easy fix. It's basically saying that you're at the wrong version. So it wants to see the version 33, and of course, if you look at my Grado file, I had version 32 for compile SDK 32, and then you want to check your target SDK, that was also 32. So what I did, of course, in my Grado build file right here, I just changed it to 33 and 33. And that was it. It actually worked. Now, for the rest of the project, what I did is I actually started with the fragment plus view model template. So I went with a new template, fragment plus view model, and then I built the entire application from scratch. I actually did all 3 stages in the book. So I started with just a regular view model, and I went all the way up until I got to the binding one. And so basically, this is an example of the binding one that's right out of the book, and it works just fine. Did have a couple of issues that are different from the book. One of the issues is that some students already commented on yesterday was this fragment main and activity main right here. These files are in reverse order of what it says right here, main fragment, main view model, and that can cause you a problem. It initially won't. It will load just fine, but when you get into this on your main fragment, and you come up to this one, and you're adding that data binding, fragment main binding, this one right here, okay? In the book, it will say main fragment binding, I believe, and on yours, it's going to be fragment main binding because it's looking at this file right here. Now, when I went into the Gradle, and I did of course, this is when I did the view binding, that's when I initially found it. It found it just fine, no problem, okay? So you just have to make sure that you change it here. Now this is obviously for when we were doing the view binding, so I had to change it here. And then of course for the binding, I had to change it here. This is in the final one where it does the actual data binding. Okay, so that was really all you had to change. There's another problem that came across that you may have not even noticed. In the book, I'll show you the book right here. And this is on page 327, and it's actually on multiple pages. They have it all through the book like this. So you can see where they have onActivityCreated right here. Okay, and if you take a look in the documentation, so I'll bring it up for Android, and it's if you go to fragment, now it's not working. That's great. Here we go. All right. So if we go all the way up, it's really kind of weird. So we go up to this fragment here, if it's going to let me do it. Okay. We go up to this fragment right here. This came in with API level 11, and it was deprecated in 28. And basically it says it right here. So you have to click on this one. So this is to find that onActivity created thing. So here, if you go, sometimes it will take you to this one. If you click this, it takes you actually over to this one. It's going to probably take a second to load up. And then it goes to this page. This is actually the Android X one. This is the one you have. It went down for me, but I just wanted to show you on the side little panel here. If you go down to onActivityCreated right here, click on this. You're going to come over here, onActivityCreated, see that? And look what it says. This method is deprecated right there. Okay, so what you need to use is onViewCreated. Now, if you use onActivityCreated, it will work just fine, but what they want you to use is onViewCreated. So basically, wherever you see the book saying put something in on ActivityCreated, just do onViewCreated. And that's exactly what I did in my little, I call it dolphin test here. And I have down here onViewCreated. I made some notes throughout this file right here. So I like anything that as we progressed, instead of removing the code, I just commented it out so you can see the code from all the past ones, from the actually just main view model to the first live data object to this data binding. And basically, instead of doing on activity created, it's on view created. So that may have not affected, I know it affected one student specifically, but that may not have caused you any problems because you probably just had on activity created, and quite frankly, it will work just fine, okay? Even though it's been deprecated, it will eventually go away. So that's kind of what I did, and everything, once I kind of got the dolphin worked out, I have to be honest, everything else worked perfectly. And the onActivityCreated was actually not a big deal thing. I just changed it. I knew that was a problem with one of the students' files, so I just changed it. You know, I looked it up and changed it. So it really, like I say, it's taking me more time probably to do this video than it did to actually fix everything. I mean, to be in total honesty, I think it took me maybe, I don't know, an hour, and I had this whole thing built. Okay, so it's just a couple little things, but the biggest thing was that whole dolphin upgrade. If you don't have to upgrade a dolphin, maybe skip it, but it does seem like they kind of got it worked out now, but it has been one of the worst upgrades ever. Now, if you want this right here, okay, I have it on my GitHub page, which is right here, and just go to Scott Scotland Examples Dolphin Test. It's right here, and this is a perfect starting point for what you need to do on your project, because your project isn't really too far off of this, and I hope that many of you use the main view model right out of the book to kind of start your other one, because it's right there, okay? So this would be a good starting point at least, because you have to do the data binding and everything for your project. That's what I would do, or just make sure that your project, you know, before you do all the updates, is kind of in sync with this one. If you want this one, okay, so you want to download just this instead of download everything. It's really simple. You basically just copy the URL address here. You go over to this download Git. Here's the address for where the website is, and I'll put it in the description. But basically, you just take this URL right here, paste it in here, click download, and we'll download that file right to your downloads, and then you can open it up. And you don't have to download my whole repository. You can just download that one particular project. Okay, that's it for this video. I just wanted to kind of do some updates. I'm sorry that class got so derailed last night working on this. Some of you weren't able to get some other questions answered, so hopefully you can come by my office hours or send me an email, and we can go from there. Okay, that's it.